Hello and welcome to the Juneteenth 196 2020 special edition. B-HBrilliantMinds Project Inc. is honored to bring to you invited guests who will tell their personal life stories from past to present. B-HBrilliantMinds Project Inc. understand the importance of leaving a legacy behind after we're gone. We know that we have the responsibility in keeping our stories alive, creating opportunities for the voices of our communities to be heard and seen. The Juneteenth 196 2020 special edition will capture the essence of why we are celebrating and honoring the backs of our and shoulders of our ancestors, who we are standing on today. Their faith, their resilience, their blood, their sweat, and tears are the building blocks for the generation to come. We are blowing into the winds of creation and preparing a place for the brilliant minds of the future to be seen and heard. If you are participating in this Juneteenth 196 2020 special edition, you are giving the authorization for your voice to be heard and seen and your comments to be seen. We thank you once again. And this evening we have Nakia Dillard. Thank you for taking out the time of your busy schedule. We have a couple questions we're going to ask you, and we're just going to have a laid back conversation. And again, I thank you for being on. And you are my special poet, one of my baby girls, one of my poets in the house. And I probably would like for you to do something, but we'll go. We'll roll this train as we go, as we move forward. So the first question to you is, tell us about yourself, your upbringing, and your family, and your passion. Go right ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Howard.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you inviting me on to share my story and just everything you've done, for myself and a lot of other community members that I know and women and young women that I know, that you've opened so many doors and always provided space for us to be heard and to share our gifts. And so I appreciate you and inviting me here to talk and share and be in community with y'all. So I'm Nakia, and I grew up in West Oakland, was raised in West Oakland. Both of my parents were also, raised in West Oakland as well. I went to all Oakland schools. I'm the youngest of 4 siblings on my mother's side. And although I'm the youngest, I feel like I'm older than everybody. And I'm the one that everybody kind of comes to lean on or ask for advice or like kind of carry things. And what else about my upbringing? Thinking about what you said earlier about like our honoring our ancestors, and a part of my upbringing also included just, having certain people in my life, like Black women in my life who saw me, who, like yourself and other women. There's one particular woman who's no longer here, who just kind of took me under her wing and really introduced me to my community and like giving back. And then also entrepreneurship at like age 8, her name was Marilyn Mackey. You all might even know her. And she, helped me start my first job. I was working at a produce stand, her produce stand, or having an icy stand, and helping feed the community, meals. And I was doing all this before I got like an actual paycheck, I didn't even know what a paycheck was until I got my first formal job at age 16. And I've had a lot of different passions and that have come to me. And a part of it, was this passion for community work and giving back and health and this work around food and also creativity. One of the first gifts that I recognized about myself was knowing how to do hair, and like something that was ancestral. Nobody sat down and taught me how to braid. I just kind of knew how to do it. And it was something that carried me throughout my life, that ended up becoming like, you know, something I did for exchange for, you know, a business, but just crowning women and that piece. And then there's poetry, right? Poetry was a passion that came to me when I was 10 years old. And it really came to me before I met you, Miss B. It was just something I used to heal myself and find my voice, because I was afraid to speak, because I associated speaking up for myself with getting in trouble. And that's because I would, you know, often get in trouble for speaking up and being that youngest sibling, right? If I tried to speak up on anything, everybody gang up on me or whatever. And it turned me into a mute, you know, where I stopped talking. And so poetry, you know, the pen and the pad is where I found myself, you know, really just found my voice and used it for me first. Yes. And then I learned later when I got older that it's not just for me. It was for me to use it for me, but also as a gift to share with others. And then it wasn't just about my own processing my own stuff. It was also like, what's going on in the world? You know, what's happening in history. And I think, Miss B, when we met, I was performing.
Yes.
You saw me.
Oh, yes. And I was like, oh, I got to have her. Look, that's one of my look, I need her in my life.
Yeah. I was performing the first powerful poem I ever wrote that was bigger than me, called The Message. And it was really like bringing up, you know, history and like merging things together. It was just something that wasn't just my own little like, oh, happiness or challenges or whatever. It was something bigger where I realized I had a gift. And so that was a passionate, you know, and you have kept me connected to that passion too. Even when I stopped performing and sharing, but you would always, you know, whether if it's Juneteenth or Phenomenal Woman or whatever, you know, when I get that phone call from you, I knew that this was an opportunity to stay connected with that gift and to, you know, share that gift with the community and just be in community. And so there's many passions. I'm gonna get to the one that's really current.
Oh, go right ahead, Sarah. This is your story. This is your personal interview. We thank you for taking out the time.
Yes. And so, and I've always been passionate about working with young people and also, like I said, health. So it started with my mentor who introduced me to, you know, like food. Before I even knew what food justice was, she was already doing that work. She was already gardening and feeding the community. Then later I got into what that was when I was a teen and did a lot of work with different food justice organizations and started getting into public health and social justice and all of that in young people. And so I went to San Francisco State and got my degree in community-based health education. And I really wanted to come back to West Oakland and teach young people about public health and really specifically how racism, how where you live, how, you know, all these different things can determine your health outcomes. And that it wasn't just about what you're eating, what you're putting into your body, but it's also these systems that are in place that really are there to kind of set us up, you know, and in many ways that things are in place to set us up. And so I wanted to do that. And I was able to do that. Came back and I taught at Bunch. And I did like a public health curriculum program there. And then I started my own girls program. Called Widely. And going back to, you know, you opening doors and holding space, no matter what I was doing, if I was doing poetry, if I was working with my girls, if I was doing my jewelry, you know, it was always a space for me to come to the Juneteenth or to whatever events and things you were holding. And I appreciate you for that. But yeah, so I had a girls program. I was doing a lot of work and I was working on myself too. I'm gonna get into my current passion, which my current passion is really around supporting Black women and making self-care a priority in our lives, and also supporting them with the courage and the confidence to leap into their divine calling. And I had to do that for myself first. And for me, with the self-care piece, one of my mentors introduced me to this woman named Debrina Jackson Gandy, who's an amazing author. She has great books, coach. I followed her and I studied with her for like 3 or 4 years. And I would be the youngest person on the calls with all these women who were like talking about self-care. I mean, nobody talked to me about self-care. Like, what is self-care? What is that? I know it's like a buzzword now, but this sister was doing this for a while. And I was just like, I need to get all this, I need to take notes and, really use this for my life. And then I started bringing it into the work I was doing with young people and girls in my programs. And I got really passionate about that. And then it turned into working with women, my age and older. And so really these last few years, I've been doing workshops. I've been, doing private coaching and I have a mastermind program where I'm helping sisters connect and really, again, make self-care priority. And when I say make self-care priority, not just the self-care with our hair and our
right,
doors, not just the outer, but like, how are we pouring into our cups from the inside? And, self-care is also about setting boundaries and saying no, to things and, making sure that you pour into your inner cup and be connected to your higher power. And, and so I've been doing that work as well as the jewelry, right? So the jewelry, and I know I'm talking all around, but
no. You're doing wonderful.
Thank you. So the jewelry actually chose me. I didn't even know I could make jewelry. It came to me, it's been 5 years now, but I was doing this 40-day prosperity plan, a meditation plan. There's a book called The Abundance Book by John Randolph Price. And it's a really good, powerful 40-day abundance plan in it. And I was doing it and you meditate on the affirmations and you receive, and I was in a place to really receive. And I was wearing this necklace around my head at first and I was calling it a crown and I'm just walking around with it. And one day I got the message and Spirit told me to make them crown. And so I used that. I got inspired. I started writing down all these ideas and I went to Michael's. It was the Juneteenth in Berkeley at that time, and I bought some shells. The shells called me. I returned to the shells because I used to wear them in high school when I didn't even know what they meant, just as fashion. And then I returned back to them and ended up making a few crowns, went to my church the next day, sold 2 of them out of my purse in a Ziploc bag. And then from there, it went from selling out of my purse to a little basket, a bigger basket. Then, you've seen me at, the events, the West Oakland events where I'm teaching the jewelry stations and doing workshops. And then it ended up at that time, I had left my job and I was full-time doing this. A good paying job, they say, and I was like, I was in a toxic environment. I had to get out, and I have no regrets about taking that leap. But the jewelry ended up at some point paying my bills, and it wasn't easy all the time. But it was like I also built up my faith and my strength, and I had to trust, God, and where I was being led. For those 3 years that I was on my own, and I made it. I never lost my apartment. I didn't lost no car. I always was taken care of, and I was going to conferences, and I don't know how I got to them conferences and stuff like that. I was just leaping all over the place. But I later realized that the reason why I went through those leaps and I did those things that were scary. This was before I started the coaching business. Once I started working with these women, the stories were coming up in the right times. It's like, okay, this is why I did that, because I have a story to tell these sisters on how I utilized my courage, how I utilized my faith, how I took that leap, and I'm still here. And so So yeah, I just said a whole lot. So I'm
No, you said a whole lot that needed to be said, and this is your space. You talked about bringing it back around to the passion that you are doing now, and you were saying that. Go ahead.
Yes. So so the passion that I think about and every single day, you know, even though I'm working the 9 to 5 where I'm still working with young people, I get to support girls in that piece, but I also have an exit strategy, right? So my goal is still to work on my passion and to do what I've been brought here to do, and I can't fully do that if I'm working for somebody else, but I'm planning, I'm being strategic about it this time. Last time I leaped without a net. This time I got some stuff, cushion saved up. I'm like planning it out because this is what my heart, you know, like speaks to me every day. Is really we gotta take care of ourselves, right? It sounds so simple, you know, like loving ourselves, right?
I get it.
It's easy to say I love myself, but how do we show that? How do we demonstrate that in our daily practices? You know what I'm saying? If it's not loving to be overwhelmed with other people's needs and demands, to say yes to everything, to be depleted and all burnt out. It's not loving, you know, to do any of those things, you know, and to not just literally be okay with being still.
There you go.
Just being still, taking, even if it's 15 minutes, you know, to you, that's your 15 minutes, you know, like to really put you on your calendar. We put everything else on our calendar, events and the stuff for our jobs and all that. Why don't put you on the calendar, you know, and make self-care a priority? And so I know that I went through I'm gonna call it a training, studying under this sister, you know, and I was doing this stuff and it was working for me. I'm feeling, when you look at me, you see light.
Yes.
You know, when our light is lit, it's from pouring into our cups. When our light is lit, we radiate, you know, and light is contagious. And women have like a feminine radiance that men don't have.
That's right.
And you know, our light can be dimmed. And if we don't have the energy, we're depleted, we're given, we're constantly in masculine mode, really, because masculine is like you gotta go, do when we're not in our flow. Getting back to the feminine flow and slowing down and being okay with that, having balance. So I'm about pouring into, you know, every single day I pour into my cup. The way I start my day. You know, I don't just roll out of bed and jump and rush. Like I take a specific time to pour into my cup, you know, and set the tone for my day and throughout the day. Especially now that we're in this pandemic, you know, like, oh my gosh. I mean, I'm just like, okay, I gotta start the day this way, but then my job, I'm looking at a screen all day. So I have to program movement breaks. Okay, every hour. This is a movement break. So I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna do my jump rope, or I'm gonna walk outside, take a walk real quick. I need to move, you know. We gotta pour into our cups. We gotta make sure we're taking care of ourselves internally and not just the outer. Because it's really killing us, and especially Black women. You know, we're taught to just do for everybody and not ourselves. And it's like this whole selfish thing. If you do for yourself, like, no, how you going? They say if you're on an airplane, you supposed to put the mask on first, right? Like you supposed to put your mask on first. How you gonna take care of everybody else if you can't breathe? Right? You know? So I'm just like, that's my thing. That's part of my thing and my personal mission. As well as then there's the other piece around leaping into your calling, because God has given everybody something divine, you know, a divine assignment to bring forth. And a lot of times we get stuck in these jobs, in these places, and yeah, we got to pay our bills, right? But what about your passion? What about your gift? What about the thing that only you can bring forth? Even if a million people making jewelry, they ain't gonna make it. It don't have my energy. Mine's gonna have my energy and my divine light through it, you know, because it's enough for everybody. But I'm also about like, we gotta do what we gotta bring gifts into the world. You know, we gotta answer our calling. So I support women in doing those things. And that's my passion.
Well, you know, and I tell you, for you being a young lady, and what also drew me to you was that you were open, you were honest, and you were wise. So as I share with you all, you know, you, Samantha and Eris you guys are my energy. And as I say to the young folks, I work for you guys. I work because I need to make sure that you guys have an opportunity. You guys have a space to be able to share your creative gifts. You know, why am I here on this earth is to give, like you said earlier, back. I got to give my gift back. And I want to, when I'm out of here, I want it all to be gone. I don't want to be talking about I wish you could have, would have. And you know, it's crazy because you touched on, if you don't take care of yourself, that you can't be any good for anybody else. I was telling the young man today, I said, you know, you are the only one that can change you. You're the only one. You can't put anything on nobody else. You can't blame nobody else. Things happen, good, bad, and ugly, that they might have been a part of the trauma, but it's still up to you to heal yourself. Mm-hmm. You got the gift within, and as you said, pour into you, and then you are able to keep going, because if you don't, the devil come in and start saying some crazy stuff to you and be trying to get you to exit yourself up out of here. Harm yourself and harm others, and just probably have that negative energy that people can feel even on the phone. Mm-hmm. Or even, I pick up energy. So even if I'm on the phone with you, I can feel it. It radiates through. I'm like, oh my God, okay, let me. And so you try to, that's self-care. When you know that energy is there, you got to say, okay, you know what, let me get off of this for 1 second, because I already know I don't need that, because where I'm trying to go and what I'm trying to do, I see him coming a mile away. You got to see the enemy coming a mile away, because he is here to take away your gifts. And our ancestors, no matter what they did to them, they still kept their faith. They still stayed focused, and they knew that they were called for such a time as this. If they didn't do their part, then we wouldn't be here today. So everybody has a special, unique, only personalized gift given to you. You know, this is what is your fingerprint. No one else in the world has a fingerprint like you. And it's about us making sure we take care of ourselves, and we can then give our gifts away. And God said that our gifts will make room for us, you know. And I love that you are an entrepreneur. You know, there's many things that I have done. People think I went to school for. I'm like, yeah, I went to a spiritual school. You know, there's such a thing as a school in divine. So that's where I, like you were talking about, I never went to school for making cakes, but I look, decorate with the best. People thought I went to school for that. Like you said, jewelry. There's some other passions that I have to do, making dolls, all of these things. I even sketch and make my paintings. I sketched some things, but I have not painted yet. And that's going to be another form of what I want to do. I want to make some paintings, you know, make my dolls, make my jewelry. And it's crazy because it's already given to me up here, the design and how to make it. So I commend you. I commend you for being a young woman and rising up and fighting the enemy, doing what you're doing in our communities and giving back to women. So what would you say to a young woman that is thinking that because of situations that she's in, there's no future for her? What would you say? If they were negative situations that she's in, what would you say to her if she thought that there's no future for her because she's in the moment? What would you say to her?
I would say that, you know, we can change and shift, you know, when we start with our minds and how we think and our beliefs. And even if you have a moment, sometimes you need that moment. Right? Mm-hmm. It's just like, you know, fear is coming up or challenges happening. Like, it's a part of life. It's a part of power sometimes is stretching us, is growing us. It's something, you know, we hear like to shy away from fear, but no, fear is a part of it. It's about what you do with that. How do you handle it? And if you need to cry, then cry. If you need to yell, then yell. You know, but at some point you got to be able to shift. You know, from and you can shift from one thought at a time, right? You don't have to take some big leap or some big step. One thought at a time. If you can find the closest positive thought, you know, and it might be a question you ask. You know, one thing that I'm using for myself is to help me shift my mindset in the moment is when I find myself in self-sabotaging thoughts and negative thoughts, because they still happen. Okay.
Yes.
You know, I know how to shift though. I know how to not be in that vibration that long. And so I'll ask myself, well, what if, you know, this is the worst case scenario. What if the best case scenario, you know, is the case? I will share this story real quick. I lost my phone at the Emeryville Marina a few weeks back. I was with a mentor. We was walking. We had such a good time. It was a beautiful day. And I left my phone on the bench, and it was nighttime. It was dark, and I didn't realize it till we left. And I'm trying to flag her down to like, hey, I need to go back, you know. And she thought I was waving and kept going. And so I realized, I'm like, I gotta go back by myself. And so I drove back by myself. It was pitch dark. Nobody was. I went back to the bench. It wasn't there. But I had no phone, no light. I was like in my phone, right? It was just this one device that I lost, and it was like everything. And so I'm finding myself going to the worst case scenario. Somebody's gonna get access to my personal stuff. I got pictures in there. I done lost, you know, all of that. I'm spinning in my head. And then I was on my way to the mentor's house. I said, I'm gonna drive to her house because maybe I dropped it in her car, which she helped drive me to my car. And even though I knew deep down inside I didn't do it, so I drove to her house. She wasn't there because she took a stop on the way. It's a kind of long story, but it's a lot of jewels in it. And so what I did was, when I realized she wasn't home, I wrote a little note, left her a note, and then I said, okay, God, what am I gonna do? I guess I don't have my phone no more. And so I'm like giving up. And so I'm driving home. I said, I might as well go home. And I'm in traffic. And this whole time I'm in the worst case scenario. And so something told me I was gonna get on the freeway. Some said, don't get on the freeway yet. Keep going down Telegraph. And so I go down Telegraph. And as I'm approaching the Walgreens on 34 from Telegraph, some say, go in that Walgreens. And I said, you know what? What if somebody decent has my phone and they just want to give it back to me? What if they're trying to give me my phone back? What I just started shifting my thoughts to the best case scenario, because I thought it was over. And I said, no. What if it's not? And so I go inside Walgreens. I said, can y'all call my phone? I lost it, you know, this, that, and the other. And how about they call my phone? and my big sister answers the phone. And she's like, I got your phone. I'm like, how do you have my phone? And so what happened was, there was a lady who found my phone on the bench, and she was calling my mom. And my mom's crazy self hung up on the lady because she couldn't understand. And I'm like, Mama, you should have knew something wrong because it wasn't me, you know. So anyway, my mom called my sister and her husband. They were met up with the lady, had got my phone, and was on their way to my house. And so I met up with them at my house. And so I feel like the energy we put out, you know, if I would have stayed in the worst case scenario, you know, the energy could have been, you know, my mom could have not answered the phone. My mom could have kept hanging up on the lady. You know, it could have been so many missed opportunities, but because I I shifted my mindset and I remembered, you know, that this can't be the worst. I didn't have this beautiful day. This is not going to end like this. And so it brought me and my sister together, because earlier that week, she and I had a little disagreement and we wasn't talking. So she's on that phone. So it was so many lessons, so many powerful pieces from just that whole thing. And so I'm a firm believer with our thoughts, you can shift your whole life with just one thought away from the best case scenario, you know? And so yeah, I know that was a long story.
Wow. No, that was excellent. And I thank you for sharing that, because you are absolutely right. It says, so a man thinketh, and so is he. So with that, you said, okay, let me shift this energy again. Who did it take to do it? It was you. No one else could have took your mind and said, okay, let me shift it. And even though we share a lot of information with people, it's still up to the individual, as I shared with this young man earlier, because he had some things that he went through that was like, I'm like, oh, thank you, Jesus, that you are still with us, you know. But however, shifting that energy, shifting that mindset, and you never know who God is going to allow you to be the example for in the lessons that he was trying to teach you.
Yep.
So, you know, to that extent, and that was huge. And you can't tell me that wasn't a coincidence. Right. I don't believe in coincidences. That was divine time, divine order for all of you, because of what you're trying to do and what you are doing in the world. He had to show you, okay, I'm still going to let me give you this exercise that I'm going to need for you to learn, for you to share with somebody else. And this is the direction that you're going in your gift. So I need you to be aware of this. So thank you for even going there. Thank you for even sharing that. And that's the beauty about having conversations with people and trying to, in good, bad, and ugly. I was telling him that your story is yours. It doesn't matter, you know, don't let nobody take it away from you. You know, you own it. Good, bad, ugly. Own your story, because all you got is your story. All you got is you. And I told him the only one that can get on you is you. You go in the moment and say, okay, I'm tripping. We gonna stay there for a minute, but you got to then get back on yourself and say, now look, let's we ain't going there. Let's change this. And who are better to tell you to change something than you? And thank God you were able to change your mindset. So my next question for you would be, what did you choose your career, or did your career and your passion choose you?
It depends on what piece I talk about. Like I was saying, with the jewelry, it chose me for sure. Okay. But with the coaching and I always, everything I did was about caring for someone, you know, caring for another. But it took me so many different ways to do that. And now it's about self-care and Black women. And I feel like I didn't know that I was going to be a coach. I didn't know that that's not what I didn't wake up and say, I want to do it. You know, it was like, let me get this information for myself and let me use these tools and apply this to my life. And oh my God, it's working. And for me, it's something good. I want to share it. And I feel like it's my responsibility to share it. And so I feel like in so many ways, like you said, you go through certain journeys and, you know, for yourself, not to just have it for yourself, but to give it away. And I think it's been the case for that, with whether if it was poetry, whether if it was the jewelry, whether if it's doing hair and, you know, coaching, like all of these pieces were gifts that were given to me that I decided to say, yes, okay, I'll do it. I'll try it. I'll leave this. And they happen to not only just help me, they helping other people in different ways. I mean, it's interesting. Even with my jewelry, sometimes you never know. Like it's jewelry, it's a tangible thing, but women be like, it makes me feel good. You know, I can feel your energy through it. It makes me feel like a goddess, or you know, it's just like wow. Like you don't even know sometimes how you're impacting folks. And so I feel like it's been a little bit of both. Like it's mostly chosen me. And I've just chosen to say yes. Like spirit comes and God gives me downloads and even during some of the challenging times. I lost one of my brothers just 2 years ago in October, my oldest brother. And during that time, it was so interesting that when I was grieving hard, in the first week, I was still getting these spiritual downloads. Like God was still telling me these things, it wouldn't stop. I'm like, I am crying. I am like, you know what I'm saying? Why am I getting these messages? I had a workshop coming up. And so I had got, one of the messages I got was this whole formula that I use now called reset, release, replace, the 3 R's. And it ended up being something I brought into my workshop, and then I'm teaching it with women now. But it came to me in the oddest time while I was literally boo-hooing, crying, grieving. And so that taught me, like, wow, like even when you in your moment, you know what I'm saying, your larger subconscious mind and all the work you've been doing on yourself, or your connection or whatever you tapped into, is still happening. It's not stopping because you need to stop and take that moment for yourself. So
wow. Now, do you have a spoken word piece you would like to share with us? Something that you already have gotten published, you know. Would you like to share something?
Let me see. Can I share? So it doesn't have to be I have an affirmation.
No, it doesn't have to be a poem. It can, whatever comes to your mind to share, that's what I want. Because it's always in the moment of what's supposed to be done.
Okay, I have this affirmation looking at me right here. That I want to share because it takes me a little bit to tap into my the poem.
Oh, I understand. I understand. And you know, some people think, I've noticed about me, a lot of poets can just go there. It has to be, like you said, massaged in my spirit. There is something that comes over me. There is the atmosphere. All of that for me plays a major role when I'm doing my work, you know, and with spoken word rather. So go ahead.
Okay, so this is an affirmation that I wrote for the ladies who I was working with in my mastermind program. It's called Magnetic Woman Manifesto, and so it's an I am. If you want to take it in, you can take it in. If you want to say it, you can say it. And then after that, I also have a gift I want to offer too that I just remembered. So, okay, so it's brief. I am a magnetic woman. My magnetism and my light shines from the inside out. When my light is lit, I feel good. The more good I feel, the more joy I experience, the more radiant I become, the more I can attract and manifest what I desire and what desires me. I give from my overflow, and I make sure to fill up my own cup first. I am beautiful. I am confident. I love myself. I will not apologize for my light. I will be gentle with my thoughts and loving with my actions. I give thanks for being my authentic self. I am a magnetic woman.
Oh,
so that's affirmation.
Magnetic woman. And
yes,
you know,
that was beautiful.
Thank you. That's something that I actually, how I end my sessions with my mastermind pro. Every time we end our sessions, we say that affirmation together. And you know, we gotta affirm ourselves. I have affirmations all over the walls and in my bathroom, like, you know, because I need to be reminded sometimes.
There we go.
You know who I am.
That's right. Because life will be like, this is what I've learned. Life is going to be life. It's in the choices that you make to say, am I going to deal? How am I going to work through this? And knowing I got to keep pushing. I got to keep moving. I have to do it. No matter what, no matter how hard it is. If I kick it screaming, don't like it, it is what it is. But then how do you move through that? How do you push those obstacles out of the way? How do you say, I am? And say this to yourself, I'm okay.
Yes.
I'm going to be okay. No matter what you see, no matter what you feel, touch yourself. I'm going to be okay. Yes. And saying those affirmations, like you said to yourself, I am going to be okay.
Mhm.
Because I love me. And I told the young man earlier, I said, you're gonna be with you for the rest of your life. So you might as well, you might as well be able to train you and say to you, look, we doing this. This is what we about to do around here.
Yeah.
So my next word, I have a word for you.
Okay.
The word freedom. What comes to mind when you hear the word freedom?
I immediately thought about, because I'm trying to leave this job. So I was like, be free financially. I want to be free to do what I love fully and not limitedly. And of course, you know, thinking about my ancestors and all they did for me to be free, you know, to a certain extent. I mean, you know, it's a lot of unlearning and a lot of unpacking of things, but free in spirit, you know, so yeah, I mean, that's what's kind of coming up.
No. That's a, what about seeds? When you hear the word seeds?
Seeds, it just reminds me like we're, you know, the garden, like we're here to plant seeds and water those seeds and, you know, watch them grow and blossom. And the seed can represent so many things, you know, it can represent your baby, you know, a literal baby, or it can represent your gift. Your gift is a seed, you know, like how are we watering our seeds that, you know, there's an abundance of them. Are we nurturing them? Are we taking care of, are watching them grow and then allowing them to bring fruit so we can share? Yeah, yeah.
What about when you hear water, the word water? What comes to mind when you hear the word water?
I love the water. I'll say that. I'm a water sign too. You know, I'm cancer. I mean, water is powerful. It's abundant. You know, it has the flow and the tides, and it can be calm and powerful at the same time. And I sometimes, you know, we can just look at the beauty of the tides, the waves rushing up, but not to forget to look to the broader, you know, ocean. You know, see the bigger picture. To look farther than just what's right in front of you.
Wow, that is awesome. So my next word for you would be move. When you hear the word move, what comes to mind? Move.
We gotta move our bodies, okay? Especially right now while we in quarantine and it's shelter in place, and it's like it's restricting. So it's just making. And I just started this 30-day dance workout plan with this sister who's amazing. Her name's Kira Lachey, and she has an online gym and different challenges and stuff. And like, it's just important. Like, I live in a small apartment. It's not a lot of steps I can take in here. And so going back to the self-care piece of, like, you know, we got to move, like, because there's we have to activate, whether if it's physically moving to take care of our physical bodies, or whatever it is that let's say, even with the planting the seeds for our gifts and all of that, like, you have to move too. You have to you can have the vision for it and really hold the space for whatever that is and allow it to come through. But you got to do you got to do your part and move to you got to do, even if you ain't doing the right thing, you don't even know which way you're going, like, God's gonna bring you where you're supposed to be, and as long as you took some action. So yeah,
there you go. Well, my last question for you, love, because time is winding down. What would you like to create, share, or give to the world for your legacy?
that's a deep question. I don't know. I guess going back to the whole mission around, like, caring for ourselves, like, just, you know, whether someone's seeing me or hearing me, you know, watching a video or hearing me or looking at a post or a picture, like, just be reminded to take care of yourself. Be reminded that as you see light, the light is within you, and you know, to pour into your cups, to feel your radiate and activate, you know, who you are, and shine bright, unapologetically, no matter what, no matter where you are, and to do what you've been called to do. Bring the gifts forth, and tap into, you know, there's some untapped gifts that we may be holding, and make sure you make yourself aware of that. And maybe I can be an example of, I mean, I know there's still things I have only scratched the surface on. I've only been here for 30 something years, you know, on this app, but I just believe in leaping and answering your call. And so I hope I can be an example of that. And whether, you know, however long I'm here, just not being afraid to take that step to do what you've been called to do, and create what you've been here to create, and share what you're here to share with the world, because somebody needs your gift. Somebody is waiting on your gift, and they don't care about all the you know, specifics of things. They need to hear or be inspired or touched by you in some way. And so hopefully my legacy, I need to write that question down, but this is what's coming up for right now.
Hey, no, it's all of what's supposed to be said, and you are saying it. Continue, sweetheart.
Yeah, so I forgot what my point was, but basically, just I'm hopeful that I can be an example, like my life can be an example of answering what you've been called to do, and doing that, and creating and shining, and loving who you are, you know, because when you do that, you give other people permission to do the same. Not that they need permission, but sometimes we need a reminder. You know, we need to see that, oh, that's just is over there. I want some of that, you know, or you know, you have it in you. Let me wake it up within me. So I just hope I can inspire and touch people in that way, through my voice, through my light, through my presence, through my gifts, through my jewelry, through whatever, you know. So.
Well, you have a lot of legacy that you have started, that you are going to continue to leave behind, and that is the braiding of the hairs, the crowning, the jewelry, the programs that you have created, you know, for young folks and for young adults, and for women, period. You know, it's never, you're never too old to learn. You know, I was told that we are lifelong learners, and to be okay with that. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I am a lifelong learner, because I am here to be able to learn what I can. But as you said earlier, it's about the cup. It's about, what do you pour into yourself that will fill you up, that will run over, that will go and spill on somebody else, to be able to help them along the way. So these many roads that we travel in our lives is good, bad, and ugly. It's all good. It's a beautiful thing. And I'm 56, and I'm learning, saying to myself that, you know, life is good. No matter if the challenges is here, and the things that I made, life experiences that I made, but it's still good.
Yeah.
You know, I was purposed to be able to be here, to even be a part of this life. Jesus Christ. I mean, you know, because you didn't necessarily have to be here.
Yeah. Every morning. You know, every morning, like, I give thanks. Thank you. Thank you, you know, God, for allowing me to sleep and wake up again and be here, you know, to even with the stresses that I deal with, like there's still nothing compared to what my ancestors went through. So I'm like,
girl, you said a mouthful. Yeah.
I'm like, thank you for this. This is what I'm stressing over. Okay. And, you know, all right. Yeah. I'm grateful that I still have a job. I'm grateful that I have money in the bank. I'm grateful that I know what my gifts are, and I'm using them. I'm grateful that, you know, I mean, setting the tone. I set the tone with my day with gratitude, because I don't have to wake up every day, and I'm still here. Yeah. I'm still here. And so we still here.
Yeah. Well, Nakia, you have been a pleasure to speak with And I am so grateful that you are part of you allowed me to be a part of your life. I'm grateful to that. You know, you can be around people and they may not even want you in their presence. They may not want you around them. But when you guys share with me that you feel when I'm in your presence and I'm knowing that my presence of being in your presence is a good thing, that's my life. You know, that makes me feel good is that somebody don't mind me being around them. Because there's a lot of people you be like, oh Lord, I don't want to be around them. I don't even want to hear what they talk about or saying. But that's a gift to you guys, to me, to allowing young folks like you guys to don't mind this sister being around y'all.
Oh,
you know.
Of course, like you are a part of my legacy. You are a part of my life, you know what I'm saying? Opening the doors for me to share my poetry, for me to serve girls, for me to sell my jewelry, for me to be heard, you know, constantly doing that and keeping me connected to my community. And you know what I'm saying, that's gonna be a lifetime thing. You know what I'm saying? You fulfilled that no matter what happens. I will never forget that. And you've installed that in me and planted that seed. And so I appreciate you once again for always doing that. And even if I know I'll be busy and you be texting, I'll get back right away. But when I see Barbara Howard, Miss B, that's, you know, you got to show up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to show up, period. So,
Barbara, can I add something? Barbara?
Go ahead.
I just want to add something because it's funny that she said that she was making jewelry, and just listening to your story, you also inspired me. So I actually last week ordered this whole kit for jewelry making because I found all these broken things. And I'm like, okay, this is crazy. I need to do something with this. So I ordered it and it came in yesterday. So as you were seeing how you're making jewelry, I'm going to show you, I just got a mess on my bed, but you can see all the stuff that's here. And so as you were talking, I just was like, oh, there's two things. And I just made some quick earrings. I'm like, my first set of earrings.
Yes.
So, but just listening to you, just listening to you say how you were inspired by Barbara. I'm also inspired by Barbara being my bigger sister too. But you just inspired me to at least try it.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I'm doing. No idea. But I'm gonna figure it out. You know, and make them to my liking. So it's may not like somebody else's liking, but it's gonna be to my liking. So I just wanted to share that as I was sitting here going, okay, let me just pull this out right now and try to do something. And so I did, and these came out. I think I like them. So
yay!
and continue to do the work that you're doing as a young woman. It's pleasing to the heart to know that we have someone who will carry it on and who will reach one and to teach one. So you will reach back and grab, you know, who and what you can to continue to teach the younger ones that are coming behind you and even the older ones. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's awesome. I'm glad. Like sometimes it's just about taking that first step, you know, like and that called you. You just answered that. So wish you the best in answering that call.
It's amazing because I'm sitting there sick, but I'm sitting there going, okay, I gotta get busy. So thank you for inspiring me. I'm saying, I don't know what, but I'm gonna get busy with something.
Yes, I love it. And like Miss Howard was saying, like we gotta be lifelong learners, you know. And I'm
That's
glad
it.
that as a young woman, you know, really all the women I work with, they older than me. So, you know, and I'm glad that they trust me and they don't see the age that I can't share or offer something, you know. So I'm thankful to be able to do that. I didn't even know everybody was going to be on. I thought it was going to be me and Miss Howard. So I'm like, okay. But I've met y'all before. Y'all bought jewelry from me. Y'all have come to my table. You know, it's always love. And so I appreciate y'all being in this space. And I also want to just offer something too. I have this guide that I just released today called 5 Ways to Pour Into Your Cup. A free self-care guide. And if you would like it, you can go to goddesscrowns.com and the pop-up that will show up immediately, just follow the link and it'll come to your email. So I just want to offer that. It's just about, you know, 5 tips, 5 self-care tools that you can be reminded of, you know, to pour into your cup. So just want to offer that.
And I'm glad that you, we are so glad that you shared how people can contact you, because that was going to be my next thing. Let us know how we can contact you.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
So yeah, that's my website, goddesscrowns.com. And I'm also on Instagram. You can find me at Goddess Crowns by Nakia or Facebook. And my coaching site is called Magnetic Woman Coach. Okay. And that's my IG. Yeah. So I got a lot going on. But you can find all of those things, even if you just went to one of them. I try to link them all together. So
Wow. Well, Nakia, we are so proud of you. Go ahead.
Goddesscrown.com.
Goddess Crowns with the S. So GODDESSCROWNS.com.
Jackie, I see you have your earrings out.
I see, girl.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, thank you.
Well, Nakia, again, B.H. Brilliant Minds Project Inc. want to say thank you, and we are continuously going to invite folks to celebrate with us virtually. And Juneteenth 196 2020 special edition, we came up with that name by, if you was to count from June the 19th to December the 31st, we wanted to make sure that we celebrate all the way to the end, even though we know we celebrate 365 days of who we are as a people and our resilience and our brilliance. With that, our theme for this year was we are the breath of our ancestors. We would never break, because we are history shakers and makers. And this is in honor of that and acknowledging that Black culture, Black minds, Black breath, and Black lives matter. And we will continue saying it loud, because we are Black and we are proud. And we definitely want to thank our sponsor for allowing us to be able to do this virtual Juneteenth celebration, this Juneteenth 196, which is a special addition to our legacy. We are so honored to have all of you be a part of this legacy. But it's sponsored by Windrose Fund of the Common Council Foundation. Windrose Fund of the Common Council Foundation. You will be also able to pull up this interview on www.B-HBrilliantMinds.org. www.B-HBrilliantMinds.org. Again, if you have participated in this session, you have given B.H. Brilliant Minds the authorization to use your voice, your picture, and your comments. We thank you for tuning in, and we say thank you again. Our ancestors are proud of what we are doing and what you are doing and what you're pouring back into our actual community and to people all around the world. We thank you from the bottom of our heart.